Okay, so my name is Mary Walsh O'Shea and I'm an adult education officer with Waterford and Wexford Education Training Board. I'm not going to go into what education and training boards do, but they do a lot. But if you're not familiar with what the work of education training boards, please go and Google it and you'll find out exactly what we do. So today my story is about how we developed and implemented immersive virtual reality content for our healthcare courses. And I'm also going to share with you some information from a case study that we carried out on the first group of learners that participated in their healthcare module, and they used this technology. And the case study is mainly about the learner experience, but it's also what we learned as well. So we felt the whole idea of harnessing the power of immersive technologies was really, really important. How did this happen and how did we decide to use immersive technologies? So back in 2019, I was working as a program coordinator and I was doing an end of program evaluation. And the learners said to me, really, when we're carrying out the skills demonstrations, we need to be in a hospital room. We need to have a hospital room because we're working with a mannequin on a table and it's not the same thing. So a couple of months prior to that, I had actually put on a headset. And my head went, this is going to be fantastic in training. So I decided, let's throw out this suggestion to the learners. What would you think of a virtual hospital room? Because I knew the capacity of getting headsets into rooms or into further education training centres was going to be a lot easier than kitting out a hospital room in every further education training centre across Waterford and Wexford. So this was really the reason why, and the whole thing of equality of access to this hospital room. If we put a hospital room in one centre and we don't do it in another centre, we have that whole thing about inequality. But we could get a headset. It was easy to bring a headset across. So I'm not going to go on to some of these things because I think John already covered some of them. We know that immersive virtual reality is becoming, I suppose, a major feature in education. It certainly places a learner where they can learn. And when I had decided that this was the route we were going to go, I had to go looking for funding. I had to look at all of the pluses and the benefits of involving, I suppose, virtual reality in the classroom. So what did I need to do? So what were we going to use and what immersive virtual reality content were we going to use? So we decided we would pick two kind of standard scenarios, carry out a care check on a patient and carry out a bed bath on a patient. Then we had to develop the storyboard right down to lifting up the patient's hand. We had to work with the standards and quality assurance. If we were going to use it for a teaching, learning and assessment tool, we had to ensure it fitted in with what was required for QQI. We had to develop an e-tender and that went out, I think, in 21. And we worked with Emagine, Aaron is here today, on Pulse XR. And there was a development period of over 1.5 years to actually, I suppose, test it and trial it in the classroom. We actually won the Best ICT Initiative, Best Use of Educational Technology this year for this type of technology. Nobody else was using it. So this is a video, hopefully it will play. This is a little screen recording. I'm not sure the sound is up on this, but if not, I can talk through it. So here I am going into the room, and this is Mary Sue, our patient, sitting up in the bed waiting for her care check to be carried out. And you can see it's a whole hospital room in a very nice nursing home. 360 view of Waterford City, which was a very nice personal touch by Imagine. When you stand there, you can actually look down into the city. And this really gives a feeling, I suppose, of being immersed into a hospital room. I'm teleporting around and you can see that I'm able to do the teleporting. For some learners, this can be difficult. Mary Sue is not happy today now that I'm going to be leaving her, and I had to explain all this if you heard the sound. So anyway, this is Mary Sue. She is the patient for the care check, and we have Patrick for the bed bath. So I'm going to move on to the next. So what happened? In April 2024, we started using this. And we started with 10 learners as a pilot group in our Wexford College Further Education training. I asked them would they agree to become a part of a case study. And we conducted interviews, semi-structured interviews after the module completion. And that was around September, October 24. So this was feedback from learners. So I'm just going to go to my notes because I don't want to miss anything that kind of came across. So the autonomy and focus, what I was told, the realistic environment provides a means to really focus on the task, and it allowed them to be autonomous and in control of their work. The sense of presence was the realistic environment again, with the sounds such as the noise of the water running when you were washing your hands, the soap on the hands, and actually feeling the pulse of the patients vibrate through the controller when you were holding. So people really felt they were present in a hospital ward. This was a really unusual, the career exploration and wise decisions. This just came out of nowhere for two learners. They just felt that the idea of being able to carry out a bed bath in an immersive environment could actually help somebody make a decision. Did they really want to get into healthcare? Because one of the first things you ask people when they're coming onto a healthcare course is, are you happy to do feeding, toileting and washing and all that stuff? And the bed bath itself is really where you're moving sheets, taking off pajamas, and you're really getting down to kind of intimate cleaning of somebody. And somebody said, no, I can't do this. Okay. So then we have the confidence building. Again, the immersive feeling of being immersed in it just gave that whole building of confidence. And the challenges around controllers, not negative, but they felt it was important that we were aware of it. And I think somebody has already said that about the importance of the induction and the actual, I suppose, giving people a chance to do all that teleporting. Switching environments was another thing, where somebody was physically in a room and then they weren't physically in a room. They were gone to the immersive hospital room. So the alignment then with educational theories, we didn't go looking for these theories in the sense of, but whatever feedback that we got from the actual learners themselves, we looked at how this would work. So for situated learning theory, the theorists we have, Lav and Wenger, talk about the authentic, realistic environment. And this is what was really, really important to the learners. The social cognitive career theory, I hadn't actually heard of that before, but I went looking, and it was about placing someone again in an authentic environment where they could actually decide, was this what they really wanted to be doing? And I was saying that came back from the learner. Then the actual experiential learning theory. We've all probably heard of John Dewey, and he talks about creating authentic learning experiences for people to learn. We certainly have the opportunity within virtual reality to create that authentic experience. And then the constructivist theory. This was interesting because somebody said that going into the room, putting on the headset with no awareness of anyone else outside looking at what they were doing was so important to their learning. And that they could build, by making mistakes, they could go back and make the same mistake again, but the patient wasn't going to fall out of the bed or anything like that. So this was, they were constructing knowledge through this. So what were the conclusions from this? It was an engaging learning experience. We could align it with educational theories. We have to think about bringing virtual reality into classrooms. Is it really necessary? Is it going to add value to the learning experience? There's no point in just using it if it's just something that we're going to use. It has to actually, I suppose, create an opportunity to learn in a more efficient way. So that's where we talk about the pedagogical tool consideration. And there has to be a thorough induction. And I could stand here for another 10 minutes talking to you about some of the things that we learned from inducting this kind of technology, and we're learning every day, even in how that screen recording is one of the things we actually do that, send it out and put it up in themes for learners to look at before they actually get on into the actual headset. And I think that's it. Yes. Thank you.